Isolation day 50. Yes, so who knew it would last quite this long? Today was a bit of a different day actually. We spent the day outside, out the front of our house, remaining 2 metres away from everyone else, but celebrating with the entire road the 75th anniversary of VE Day, which is the celebration of the end of the Second World War. And I've got to tell you, it was probably the best thing we've done since we've been in isolation. It was awesome. The second best thing is haircuts. And you can see what my son has done to me. Grade 1 all over. It's been, 2 decades since I've had a haircut like this. Do I like it? I'm undecided at the moment. What do you think? It's quite aggressive as a standalone, but I am told that with a little bit of facial hair, it kind of balances that out, so it's not quite so aggressive. I'm not entirely convinced, but look, we'll see where it goes. So let's have a bit of a recap. My bloods the day before yesterday were an absolute nightmare. As you saw, they went super high in the middle of the night, and there was no justification for it. I managed to get back into control in the middle of the day, and that stayed the case for a couple of hours, and then I had an evening meal and the blood shot right the way through the roof again. And on investigation I realised I hadn't changed the set, which is the plastic part of the equipment which attaches to my pump and that goes into me as such and dispenses the insulin. Now the guidance says that should be done every 3 days. I hadn't changed my set for 4.5 days. That's justification for the insulin not going in the way it should do. However, let's look at today's insulin, because I don't think it was the set that was the issue. This is the Medtronic CareLink report that you've seen plenty of times before. Blood glucose readings, 19 in 1 day. So that tells you categorically that I had a problem throughout the day. Sensor duration 9 hours 35. I actually switched the sensor off. I was getting that frustrated with it, mainly due to the fact that it was the first day that the sensor was in, and as I've mentioned before, it does take time to calibrate and to be as accurate as possible. It was a mile out. The sensor was showing me readings of 7, but actually my blood sugar was 10.3. I knew there was a problem, so actually I switched it off because I thought it would cause me more problems than it was worth. I also, as you can see here, replaced my cannula and my set again because I wanted to be sure that my insulin was going in. I'm pretty sure it is. Sensor duration of suspend was 1 hour 13. Doesn't really play a part. Let's go to, well, you can see here the sensor was making no sense. I mean, it was just all over the place. Let's look here. 7, 2.1, 2.1, 3.7, 11.4, 11.5, 5.9, 4, 2.1, 4.4, 9.7. A roller coaster ride. Now, what you've also got to bear in mind is throughout that day I had 17 grams of carbs. So that's a big problem, because it doesn't really, as a standalone, make sense. Let's look a little bit further. Low, low, high, 17 grams of carbs. From there, from 3.7 to 11.9, 10 grams of carbs would not justify that big hike. The only conclusion I can come to is that I am ill or I'm getting ill. Do I feel ill? No, not really. I feel a little bit under the weather, but I don't feel like I'm getting a cold. I don't feel really bad. Again, really low, really high. It's just a bloody nightmare, to be honest. These are the things that are sent to test us, and what I've done and what I concluded was that I was going to increase my background insulin. So I increased my basal rate by 35% actually, just to try and get a grip of it. And today has been slightly better, but not a whole host better. So the only conclusion I can come to again is that I'm just going through a bit of a patch of being ill. Let's leave it there really. I can't come to any more conclusions than that, apart from this is really out of the ordinary for me to be up at these kind of levels, especially when you have those kind of carbs. The Chronometer overview on the 7th of May. Carbs 15.3, I think on the other schedule it said 17. Protein, quite a lot, 97.2, and fat 112.9. We are at nutrient targets of 51% of the targets, which seems to be relatively even for what it was the previous day, but you can see as you work your way down, not enough water, not enough energy, not enough carbs, not enough fat, strangely, quite a lot of protein, rubbish on the minerals, and really bad on vitamins as well, you know. So I think this is where we're going to see the major change from keto to plant-based whole food approach. Although at the moment, to be honest, at 17 grams of carbs, you know, it's barely keto, is it? Let's be honest. But it's a good overview to show the difference that will be telling, I think. Look, we all know this isn't a good day, and we all know this isn't a perfect setup at the moment. Yes, it concerns me. Yeah, I'm not particularly happy about it. These are the kind of things that we as people with diabetes have to deal with. And it's not bloody easy. You can see that at the moment I'm still questioning, after 35 years, what the hell's happening to my blood. Now, what do newbies think, and what do people that are in 6 months in get to do? They get to learn. And yes, over the years I've learned an awful lot. But do I know all the answers all of the time? No. Do I have all of the solutions? No. Is it a checklist that I work through, and do I have to work through it? Yeah. Does it become easier over time? Slightly. Does it become better over time? No. Does it still feel as bad as it did 35 years ago? Yeah, 100%, unfortunately. And it's quite debilitating, and it's quite frustrating, and that is what plays with this, and that is what will and can frustrate you and can lead you down a road of annoyance, shutting down, separating yourself from family, from friends, and can lead you down the road to depression. But you know what? I choose the other road at the moment, and I'm still confident that I can get to a position where I'm in control. And for most of the time, I have been in control. Let's be honest, you've seen my bloods. They've been pretty damn good for a long time. Yes, they've been going low, but they've been going low for a reason, because I've been either overcompensating with too much insulin or been under eating the carbs. And those are the kind of things that affect me. Is it frustrating? 100%. And does it annoy me? Yeah, 100%. The best thing about yesterday was that I got this, which is the Omega-3 complete blood test, which is what I've been telling you about. Now I'll show you a video, and then we'll call it a day today, okay? And tomorrow we'll come back and we'll reapproach, and you'll see, hopefully you'll see how I'm doing, and you won't judge me too badly on the fact that today has also been a pretty bad day, to be honest. Look after yourselves, okay? Okay, so I've received the Omega-3 Index Complete test. I've watched the video on their website, which I'll put a link below to show you what that is. But look, I'll run you through exactly what needs to be done. So let's open it up and have a look. So the first thing you get in here is a barcode. And the barcode, you need to type in and register the kit. So I'll do that first. So you put your date of birth, your last name, what gender you are, where you're from, what Omega-3 supplement do you take regularly? Well, I take cod liver oil, but not regularly, so I'm going to say none. On average, how often do you eat tuna or other non-fried fish? Maybe every other week. So there's sample instructions, or watch the video to learn how to collect your sample. So let's open it up and see what's in it. So the first thing you do is you wipe the finger with sterile alcohol wipe. You then use the gauze to dry the finger off. You then use this finger pricker, which obviously I'm very used to that, but look, you put it on, push it in, you then produce the blood, you get a good droplet of blood, and you drop it. That's a good droplet of blood, and you drop it on here. See if we can get a bit more. I don't know how much they need. I'll put plenty on. So that, I think, will do the job. They give you a finger pricker, but I'm not going to use that. So I need to put my name, my date of birth, collection date and email address on there, and then I will send that off in the prepaid envelope, okay, and that will come back hopefully in a week's time with a report, and they will email me the report.